From the cloistered college campus of The Social Network to the sands of Mad Max Fury Road, these are the movies that defined the last decade. Welcome back to my channel Cinematic. Here are 24 absolute best movies of the last decade. Over the past 10 years, thousands of movies have hit the world's multiplexes. It's nearly impossible to watch, let alone review all of them. Yet looking back over the past decade, it's easy to recall the ones that left the indelible marks, the ones that caused the audiences to leave the theater gobsmacked. For us, this list represents those movies. Not everything here is a genre film that's our specialty, but there are probably more sci-fi, fantasy and comic book movies here than on any other best of roundup. Good, we just love this stuff and hope that you do the same too.
As for the charges, I believe I deserve some recognition from this board.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Which part?
The first on this list is The Social Network. The movie, as the Facebook executives still inherently call it, set the tone for the decade in both film and the tech meta-narrative. Aaron Sorkin's best script, A Dolphin Skin Smooth Nightmare, and Jesse Eisenberg's best performance, Megalomaniacal Peronia at its most delicious, nailed the Facebook's slippery origins and presaged its assaults on privacy, democracy, and consciousness. All of that was topped off with an Academy Award-winning techno-industrial horror score that launched the Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross as the decade's composers of America's anxieties. Hand Covers Bruise, the opening track, which underscores Mark Zuckerberg's scampering between Harvard's red bricks dorms with baleful foreshadowing, might as well be the soundtrack of the decade. Next is Looper. Next comes Snowpiercer. Science fiction works metaphorically, of course. The aliens are really us, etc. Here in Bong Joon-ho's Future, the metaphor works more, literally. The Snowpiercer is a train plowing through the icy remains of the Earth. It's all that's left. It's the society, its social stratification, verticalized and energized. The people at the back, led by Chris Evans, fight their way to the front. Tilda Swinton and her fake teeth commit the atrocities. As the poor overtake the privileged, secrets are exposed and compromises are made. It's a breathless ride, a narrow premise opening up so capaciously, the metaphor threatens to overtake the meaning. Greatly, if Instagram influencers or consider themselves true digisexuals, many people are now truly in love with their computers, and that ardor shows no sign of fading. Next is Upstream Color. Shh! You're confused. That's okay. There are pigs, weird flowers, some kind of evil Foley artist, a man and a woman. Focus on them, those two. Clearly, they're falling in love. This is a love story. Not an easy one, but when was love easy? It's hurt and repair, sensitivity and devotion. The pigs and the parasites mean something surely. Something about cycles and resonances and the value of life. That's enough. Find meaning in the moments, not in the whole. This outing, Shane Garrett's second, is uncrackable. It asks you to give up the burden to know or understand. It's make-believe of the boldest, truest kind, a precious achievement not only in the genre but in the history of film. A story that denies you entry, even as it welcomes you inside.
You're doing this because you're scared to death, like the rest of us, that you don't matter. And you know what? You're right. You don't.
Next comes Birdman. People write a lot about superheroes and anti-heroes. Alejandro G. Inarritu's Birdman is both and neither. Its protagonist, Regan Thompson, is an actor who lost his credibility as a serious thespian because he donned a supersuit in his earlier years. His path is an open-eyed look at the value put on fame and what it means to truly find redemption. It's also beautifully shot and full of brilliant performances from Keaton, Emma Stone, and Edward Norton. Look what we have next, Edge of Tomorrow. It's well established that the title of this movie stinks. Edge of Tomorrow? I mean, is this a song by Lady Gaga? Maybe that's why they tried remarketing it as Live Die Repeat, which is somehow for being a second try even worse. No matter. The movie itself is a keeper for the ages. Groundhog Day for those who found that Hallmarker a bit of a grating bore. Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt do normal linear time things like fall in love and kill aliens over a looping single day. Even as the narrative repeats and repeats, it never once feels repetitive. Instead, it drives relentlessly forward toward the inevitable boss battle and chronological bust out. The best movie based on a video game that never existed. Next is Mad Max Fury Roads. If early 2000s have been marked by anything, it's an overabundance of reboots. If there was one movie that helped to remove that tarnish, it was Mad Max Fury Road. 30 years after the last Max installment, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the writer-director George Miller brought all the beauty and grit of his earlier movies to Fury Road and then cranked it up to 11 with a kind of stunts, practical effects and feminist messaging that never made it into those previous chapters. It was an adrenaline-fueled death race that also managed to take on environmental issues and sex slavery. It might have been a revival of a massive franchise, but it was also unlike anything anyone had ever seen before or ever since. The Handmaiden. Is it unacceptable overstatement to call a work of art Shakespearean? So be it. The Handmaiden, Chan Wook Park's outrageous lesbian psychodrama about thievery and art and loyalty in Japanese-occupied Korea, is positively Shakespearean in scope and splendor. The relationships, the characters, the turns and reversals, in 2 hours and 48 minutes, not a single one wasted. The film gives you everything you didn't know you wanted, didn't know you needed. Nothing condenses to your intelligence, everything feels earned. Much of the time, not even the Shakespeare plays feel Shakespearean. The quality has much more to do with enlargement of our spirit. The Handmaiden might just make yours burst. Now, it's time for Moonlight. This decade, images defined us. It was unavoidable mostly, given that the chief cultural engines of 2010s were image-centric innovations, updates to the iPhone camera, Instagram, the permanence of surveillance culture, TikTok, and so on. Comparatively, films could feel a little less exciting. The structures of Hollywood simply don't allow for some kind of cultural disruption, no matter how hard Netflix has tried to shatter that model. In 2016, that sniffed with the release of Moonlight, a queer black love story that went mainstream. Originally adapted from playwright Tarell Alvin McCraney's In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. The film is flush with scenes of tenderness that neatly measure the depths of belonging, vulnerability, and black male intimacy. The Anguished Triptych is an extraordinary study in distance. Juan teaching a terrified Little how to swim, Chiron reuniting with Kevin in a Miami dinner, transforming the eatery into an Eden of unspoken desire. The beauty of Barry Jenkins' directed feature, which went on to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, is how it forsook any kind of neat remedy on identity, sexual orientation, or gender performance. The resulting image gave us a new way to see ourselves. Next, Tangerine. Shot on an iPhone 5 using lead actors whose real-life stories inform the plot with a soundtrack influenced by Wine. Tangerine is a kind of a movie that could only have been made in 2015. Even though Wine is gone and the Donut Time restaurant that served as the movie's setting is closed, the film stands as a testament to doing amazing things with little means. The director Sean Baker made his movie with $100,000 from Mark Duplass and the actresses Mia Taylor and Kitana Kiki. Its story must be seen to be believed, but its beauty is obvious in first shot. Next, Attack the Block. Joe Cornish' Attack the Block is a funny, nerve-wracking adventure flick about a bunch of teens in South London who defend their home from an alien invasion. Aside from its antics, it's the film that launched the future Star Wars star John Boyega to the prominence. Pulsing, scary, often hilarious, Attack the Block is what teen action adventure movies should strive to be. Stay tuned with our channel for the other part of this video, which will include the remaining 12 movies that just blowed off the last decade. And don't forget to subscribe my channel, share and like my video, and do mention your favorite movies in the comment section. See you soon, guys.